Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you're watching from and what time of day you're watching. I'd like to welcome you to episode number 6 of Coffee and a Card. This is my Sunday morning Facebook Live, and I do a live every Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, and I create one card. I try to keep it simple, but sometimes I like to add in a few extra elements since we're only doing one card. So I'm actually jumping on a minute early today because I wanted to give people a chance to find this in their news feeds in case they wanted to join us live and hang out. So as you are finding this video in your feed, I want you to know I'm super grateful for you and that you hang out with me and that you're watching and taking the time out of your morning. I hope that you have a cup of coffee. I've got mine over here, and this is number 2 for the day. So I'm just going to chat a little bit and say good morning to some friends. Please do comment and say hello as you're logging on. And I'll tell you a little bit about my morning. Not that it was overly exciting. It's, everyone says it's like Groundhog Day, right? You wake up, it's kind of the same every day. But I've been kind of, I don't want to say slacking, but I have not been as consistent with doing my workouts every day. And it kind of started last week when I had tweaked my neck. And then I was just in a lot of pain for a few days, and so I had kind of discontinued the workouts, but then I started getting treatment, and I probably could have done at least lower body workouts or a walk or something, but it was just a really busy, I don't know, it was busy, and the kids were going back to school. So anyway, I'm not going to make excuses. I just wasn't as consistent with my workouts, but I noticed that I was feeling really kind of sluggish and low energy and just not as productive. So last night as I was going to bed, I said to my husband, I have to get back into a routine of doing some sort of movement in the morning. So this morning I got up at 6:30, which I think I probably set my alarm for 6:30, but then I probably set it thinking I'm just going to sleep a little longer, but then I couldn't. So I got up and I actually did my workout and I had a shower. And then I was so excited to have a coffee and just, have some quiet. And then my kids started waking up early. Like they were up at 7:30 this morning, which I just don't understand. They're teenagers. So anyway, this is going to be the quietest coffee I've had all day. I see some friends joining. Hi, Sonia. Hello, Joy. Good morning, Sandra, Janice, Heather. Oh, hello, friends. And thank you for sharing, Sonia. I really appreciate that. It means a lot to me. And it's like the ultimate compliment that you feel comfortable sharing these videos with your friends and family. So I really appreciate that. Let me show you really quickly what we're going to be making today so that you don't run away thinking like I'm just going to talk the whole time. So I'm going to be showing you how to make a fun fold card, and it's a really simple fun fold card. For those of you that have been stamping with me for a while and or have been watching my Facebook Lives, you know that I kind of just stick to really simple kind of regular fold cards. I don't do a lot of fancy folds. I just like making cards, but I don't love to spend too much time making them. However, once in a while, I think it's fun to do a cute fun fold or just something a little bit different. So I had done a fun fold mystery stamping night with my team members. So anyone that purchases the starter kit with me will join my team called the Pretty and Pinksters, and we do a lot of really fun and creative activities together. So we get together once a month and we have a monthly crafting social, and on those evenings we do some mystery stamping. So I'll send out a list of measurements and instructions and supplies together, and then when we are all on Zoom together, we actually assemble a card. And some people will kind of like go and take that same layout and do it, on 4 or 5 different cards, and it's pretty cool to see. And then we all share it in our Facebook group. So this is the fun fold that we had done this past week, Thursday. And I've done a couple of interpretations. So I'm going to be showing you this one that I've done using the Paper Blooms paper. So why don't we flip the camera down? I'm going to show you some other samples using the Paper Blooms paper and the In Bloom bundle because they're kind of favorites of mine. And I will show you a few samples. I'm going to talk a little bit about Celebration. So we are in our final week of Celebration. And what that means is that this is the promotion that Stampin' Up! Has every year, where for a qualifying purchase of $60 or more Canadian, you get to choose an item for free from this little booklet or brochure. So one of the papers we're going to be using today is the Paper Blooms paper, which you can actually get for free. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about Celebration really quickly. We'll do a recap. I'm going to show you some samples, and then we're going to get crafting. Okay, so don't go anywhere. I think it's going to be a really fun, morning, and hopefully this will inspire you to try this fun fold out. So let me just find this on my computer so that I can see comments. Oh, I'm already seeing some comments in here. Good morning, Janice. Live with me and a cuppa makes for a great start to a Sunday. Oh, thank you for saying that. I appreciate that. And Joy, yes, we would love to have you come back to our team socials. Joy is a part of my Pretty and Pinksters team. And yes, we miss you at our team socials. I know it's hard right now with the pandemic. Everything just feels a bit different. And hello, Denise. I know, I'm excited that you made it live. Okay, this is awesome. I always download these recordings and then upload them to YouTube. So if you are watching on YouTube, and please, I hope you don't mind all the chatter, but I would appreciate if you would like it and subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to put more on my YouTube channel there. So thank you for being here. I'm super grateful. You guys have no idea how much I appreciate you all being here and watching and just taking the time. So I'll stop talking and I'll flip the camera down 1 second. Okay, let's get this shifted. Oh, thank you, Denise. Oh, and thank you, Joy. I appreciate that. That's such a nice compliment. Let me just tighten this a little bit so that it's not all shifty on us. And then if there's any issues, I know somebody will hook me up and tell me. Okay, see, it's already shifting. There we go. Let me move that. And then this grid paper kind of tells me the area that I need to stay within, okay? So if I'm moving off the camera, let me know. Okay, so let me show you again the card that we're going to be making. This is, like I said, it's a fun fold card. It's really simple, and I'm going to give you measurements and instructions and take you through step by step how to make this card. So this is featuring the In Bloom bundle from our mini catalog, and then the Paper Blooms paper in the Celebration. So let me show you the pages where you can find these. If you don't already have catalogs and you don't have a demonstrator, feel free to comment below or send me a message, and I would be happy to send these in the mail to you. Our Celebration brochure is expiring on the 28th, so that's a week from today. However, our mini catalog is good until June, so you can still continue to get items out of here. And everything that I'm using today can be purchased from my online store. So this is the Paper Blooms Designer Series paper. It's on the first 2-page layout of the Celebration booklet. Now, I want to bring your attention to a little error here. It says it coordinates with the Pretty Perennials bundle. That's actually a mistake. It actually coordinates with the In Bloom bundle. And that's this bundle here, which you've probably seen me use many times because I love it. This is one that I feel is like a staple in the craft room. I will never get rid of these dies because they are just so versatile and can be used with any stamp sets or any other kind of papers and things that you might have. So this product here you can actually get for free if you place a $60 purchase. So for example, the In Bloom bundle, which is on page 45 of our mini catalog, is, so it's right here, and that bundle is $65.50. So if you really liked this card that we're going to be making today and you wanted to order the products to be able to replicate it or do something similar, you could order the bundle and then you would get the Paper Blooms paper for free. So then you'd have so many of the supplies that you need to be able to recreate the card. So this bundle comes with a stamp set. It's photopolymer and it has 21 stamps. And then the dies, oh my goodness, the dies are incredible. There are 25 dies in here, and they are a lot of different pierced flowers and leaves, and then the centers of the flowers. And then what I really love about it is that it's got this cool label die that will fit many of the sentiments that are in the stamp set. It also has this really cool die which actually cuts out like a cardstock bow that you can add to your card for some embellishment. So it's a really super set of dies. If you don't have this already, I am going to highly, highly, highly recommend that you get it. So we are going to be using that today. Before we go on to that, let me show you the Paper Blooms Designer Series paper. So you get 12 full-size 12 by 12 sheets in here, and I'm going to show you the different patterns. So if you, I will tell you, when I first saw this, I wasn't overly, I don't know, like it was a little bit muted for me. I really like bright colors. So there's another paper called Flower and Field, which I was a little bit more drawn to just because of the bright colors and the sort of springy look to it. However, the more that I started to use this paper, the more I fell in love with it. So I've got 5 full-size sheets here, and then I've got a half, well, not even a half sheet, but I really like this pattern. So I'll show you the front and back. So this is the front, and then this is the pattern on the back, or on the other side. Then we've got this one here. Again, just a really subtle, beautiful, like a muted light pink shade to it. And then on the back, it's got this navy and white and seaside spray floral pattern. Then we've got this one here, which has all the colors in the paper pack on one sheet. So it'll coordinate with so many different colors you might have. So you don't have to have every color of ink and cardstock in your craft room to use this paper, because there's just so much versatility here. And then we've got this fun striped background that would be good vertically or horizontally on a card. Then we've got this fun kind of watercolor circular pattern. I actually haven't used this very much, but I have seen other people cut out flowers using the Pierce Blooms dies from these color splotches. So it has a little bit of a variation to the texture and the color on the flowers, which is really cool. And we've got this fun pattern here. This navy one, again, with all the colors on it. And then we've got this beautiful elegant leaf pattern on the back. And then we've got this one here. So you can see there are a lot of papers that have multiple colors on them, which I just love, because then I feel like it takes the guesswork out for me. So let me show you a few other projects I have made using this paper. Now this is one, oops, there's a little dimensional backing stuck in here. This is one that we had done at my recent stamping bingo, where we used one of the Love You Always treat boxes and just took a strip of the designer series paper. I think it measured 4 inches wide by 10 inches long. And then we just secured it to the bottom here and then decorated it using the In Bloom bundle and the Happy Thoughts stamp set. And we just embellished with some fine art ribbon and the opal round. So really simple and cute, but a really nice way to give a gift. So if you could put jewelry, a gift card, any kinds of treats or anything in there you could give to somebody, and it would just brighten their day. And I thought it coordinated really nicely with this card here. This was another project that we did at the same event. And it just used a different pattern of the paper. Again, we used the Pierce Blooms dies and that gorgeous label there that I was showing you, and then used the same embellishments. So that's just a couple of projects you can do with that paper. I'll show you a couple of projects that I've done with the In Bloom bundle. So this is one that I had done for a team swap. That was actually, they went out this week, and I actually did a YouTube video on this yesterday, so I uploaded it to my channel, so you should be able to find that there, and I have a blog post that I'll be sharing as well. So really simple, and I used the True Love designer series paper. I love the black and white with the pop of color. That's kind of like a, I don't know, it's a go-to of mine. I could do these kinds of cards all day. And then again, in that similar vein, this is a slimline card. I think I had done this on a Facebook Live, where it's just the black and white striped pattern and again, the same dies to do. I really love these. Like, I can't even describe to you. I love these dies so, so much. So those are some samples of cards, and then I'm going to show you one more fun fold card using this same fold. So this is using the Butterfly Bouquet Suite. This is a new bundle of products that has just come out and is available for demonstrators to pre-order. So I wanted to play around with that, and this is the same fold, kept it pretty simple, and I just die cut one of the butterflies, and I used the stamp from, I think it's called Enjoy the Moment. I loved the happy birthday in there. So this is the one that I made during our team social on Thursday night. And I just embellished with some metallic pearls. So are you guys ready to get started? Let me see. Okay, I'm looking at some comments. I use those hoops so beautifully. Oh, thank you. I'm excited. Actually, that reminds me, I haven't pulled out my hoop yet, but I need it. Okay, I'm glad that you guys are liking them. Janice, you filled the box you made with lots of chocolate, hearts, and gift card for a recent birthday. Your future daughter-in-law loved it. That's so good. I love when people actually use the projects that we make and give them to people, because I used to be a hoarder. I would hoard my projects, and now I love sending them to people. Okay, so last time I'm going to show you, this is the card that we're making. I'm going to set it up just in front of me so that I can see it as I'm creating it. And while I go get my hoops, these are the measurements. So if you want to, you can later take a screenshot of that. These are the measurements that you need for the card, and I will post them on the in the description as well. So I've got my gold hoops here. So I've got one here. Thank you for reminding me, Denise. And then I'll go through what you need to make this fun fold card. So you first need a piece of colored cardstock, and I would suggest you pick one that's going to coordinate with the designer series paper you use. So this measures 7 1/4 by 5 1/2, and it's scored at 4 1/4. So the width of it is going to be the same as a regular card base, but we've got a little bit of it taken off here. Okay, so I'll use my bone folder to do that again properly. Then we've got a piece here that's 4 1/4 by 4 1/4, and it's scored at 1 inch. Okay, so it's just like a little flap. This is, if you look at this card here, you can see that that flap here folds open and closed, and that's the piece that I just showed you. This doesn't want to stand up. It does actually stand upright, the card. And then we've got another piece of coordinating cardstock here. So you could go with the same color, like I could have gone with the Night of Navy, but I chose to pick a different color. And that measures 3 1/2 by 2 1/2. Okay, so that's going to be the mat for the white piece that you're going to stamp on or embellish. And then we need our designer series paper. So I've got a piece here that measures 5 1/4 by 2 3/4. And then I've got another piece that measures 4 by 3 inches. Okay, and I'm going to of course take you through how you're going to assemble all these pieces. Then we have a piece of basic white cardstock that measures 5 1/4 by 4. And then I don't know why I have 2 of these. I only need 1, but you know, in case I make an error, I guess I have another one. And this measures 3 1/4 by 2 1/4. Okay, and then I've just got some scraps here for my die cutting that I'm going to use for the flowers. And then I've also already heat embossed my sentiment. So I've used the sentiment here that says, "Happy birthday, you really are the best." And what I love to do with this, especially when I'm using the hoops, is I heat emboss the whole thing. And then I cut it into 2 separate sentiments so that I can, because I just don't want anything too thick across the hoop. So I cut them into narrower sentiments. And so this one is going to say happy birthday on this card. Okay, so there's nothing kind of fancy about how I've cut it. I just did it in a rectangle. I can't even say that it's totally straight. And then we've got our gold hoop and some embellishments. So I will post this again later so that you can see it, but let me show you how you start to assemble this card. So I'm going to use my Stamp and Seal. You like the blues? Okay, you love the pink. I'm glad you guys like it. Okay, so let me show you. So this 1 inch piece here is going to get hidden. Okay, so it's actually going to get hidden inside the card. We're going to cover that with the white insert. So you're going to start by just putting a little bit of your adhesive, maybe not a little bit, you want to put a good amount so that it stays. And you're going to line up this seam with the edge of your card base. Okay, so you want to line that up. Try and get it as straight as you can. And you're just going to stick that down. Now I am going to put this part in here, but I'm not going to do that just yet because I want to stamp on that. And then that way when you open it up, you have kind of a fun little party on the inside. I forgot to burnish my card base. So I'm going to do that now so that it's just a nice clean crease. This is like my, I don't know, I should do a video on my most used tools because I have a few that are just absolute must-haves, essentials. So my bone folder is definitely one of them. I have, I'm looking at my little organizer on my desk. I have 5 in there, 5 bone folders. One of them I use for re-inking my ink pads. And I only use it for that because there's ink all over it. I'll show that to you in a moment. I'm just taking my designer series paper piece, the larger one, and I'm putting it on the outside flap of the card, okay? When I say outside, I mean kind of the first large flap. This is actually going to cover this. And then I'm taking this pattern here that just has that more kind of geometric, oh my gosh, there's a name probably for this. It's kind of like a boho, I don't know, maybe there's a better word for it. But I'm using that one for the smaller flap of my card. Hello, good morning, Kathleen. I'm glad you like this fun fold. It's, you know, I was saying at the beginning, I don't do a whole lot of fancy fun folds, or yeah, I don't do a lot of them. I kind of stay in my comfort zone of just doing kind of regular traditional folding cards. But this one I did with my team for a mystery stamping night, and we just had a lot of fun with it. And it was really neat to see because everybody will post their pictures on our Facebook group, and it was really neat to see all of the different interpretations of that fold and how they turned out. I was totally inspired. So I'm going to stamp the white insert, and I'm going to just use, these are flowers from the In Bloom stamp set, and I'm just going to start by stamping the petal pink just in the corner here. Okay, that turned out pretty good. And then I'm just going to use this, I'm going to stamp the center in Rococo Rose. Okay, so I'm just going to use a slightly darker color. You could do a lot more on the inside if you wanted. I better make sure, I think I used Night of Navy on this one on my sample card, and I'm not sure I cleaned it off. I might not have. It looks a little dark. Yeah, I should have probably cleaned that. Anyway, hopefully not too much damage to my ink pad there. Okay, so now we can put this on the inside of the card. So I'm just using my seal. I kind of got a bit, not literally burned, but I got a bit burned with my Stampin' Seal Plus on my last Facebook Live. For those of you that were watching, I probably jinxed myself. I put it out in the universe and said, only on my Facebook Lives does my Stampin' Seal Plus tear the cardstock, and it did, and then it stopped working. So I'm sticking with Stampin' Seal today. Okay, so can you see how easy that is to put together? And it's just with a few pieces of cardstock here, right? We've just used our base, our 4 1/4 by 4 1/4, and then we've got our designer series paper put on. Okay, so that's kind of how it's going to go. You could, if you wanted, put a belly band around that just to, and then decorate the belly band so it slides on and off, but I actually don't mind that it opens like that. Okay, so Sandra, you've called it a herringbone tweed. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, chevrons, herringbone. I don't know. It's just a cool pattern, right? And I felt like it was a really nice complement to the floral pattern here. Like it just doesn't take away from it completely. So I felt like it was a nice complement. So let's work on our little piece of white cardstock. And this has kind of become my favorite technique, and I mean, I use that term loosely because it's really not that fancy, but I like to just add a little bit of splatter. I'm going to show you on the original card. If you look closely, you can see that there's a little bit of the splatter background on the back there, and I just didn't want to stamp. I tried stamping flowers on that piece, and it just was a little too busy for me. So I felt like I didn't want it to be too stark white. So I'm just using my Misty Moonlight Stampin' Write marker. I don't have a Night of Navy. I think I might have lost it. So I'm just using my Misty Moonlight, and I'm just taking the brush tip and flicking it against the cap of the marker. Now a lot of this is going to get covered. So, you know, I'm not trying to do this in any specific pattern or manner in any way, okay? So let me now get so the hoop is gonna go in the center here, but I'm going to get my mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and then I am going to get the dies, and we're going to cut these out. So I'll show you here. This is the one I had done on my team swaps, and I had just taken 3 of the flowers, and this is what the centers look like, and then I just attached a leaf and just made a little arrangement, and then put it on that piece of black and white, the card with the black and white designer series paper. So for those that are just joining, this is kind of how they came together, and then I just added them to my card. So I like to keep my extra flowers so that in case I need to use them for another project, I can do so. So what do I need here? I need this die here, I need this one, and then I think the Seaside Spray flower is with that one. So let me cut this out. I don't know if any of you have the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, but I really love it. I find it to be so convenient The other day I was watching or binge watching a show. I've been watching a show with my husband called For Life. I don't know if any of you have heard of it. I think it's on network television, but we've been watching it on our streaming channel. And it's about a gentleman who's wrongfully convicted of a drug crime and ends up in jail. And he becomes a defense lawyer. So the other day we were watching, and I wanted to do some work to assemble my swaps, and so I just brought up my mini Stamp and Cut and Emboss machine, and it was so convenient because I have this cool little TV table that I do my stamping on when we're watching TV together. So it was very convenient. So there's one flower, and I have a little magnet sheet that I keep on my desk, and I like to put my dies on there when I'm not using them and not ready to put them away so that they don't get lost. Okay. The other day I found a little tiny die on the back of my Stamparatus. So it was stuck to a magnet. I didn't even know I had lost it, and when I was going to put my Stamparatus away, there it was. So putting them on some sort of a magnet sheet when you're not using them is probably a good idea. Okay, let me just get this out. I should probably use my Take Your Pick tool, which is one of my other most used tools. And then lastly, I'm going to do this little piece here using Seaside Spray. And I've just used colors that are in the Designer Series paper. Okay, so I'm not doing any guesswork here. I'm just pulling the colors right out of the paper. Okay, so let me get my Take Your Pick and poke this little thing out, and then we'll move the Stamp and Cut and Emboss machine out of the way, the mini I should say. It's so cute, right? I just love everything miniature. When I was growing up, I loved all miniature things. Okay, we've all shifted here now. Oh, you've been watching it too, Janice? It's so good. It was one of your die cut frames. Yep, I use I just took a frame, I think I got it from IKEA, and then I just put a magnet sheet from the dollar store. I cannot remember where that die is from. Clearly it did not make its way back into the die envelope. Okay, so we are now ready to put this together. And okay, I don't know, I just got new glue dots the other day, and it's different where the glue dot is actually, like, it's on the actual strip, whereas before it used to be on the roll. And I couldn't figure out if it was just that I had a defective one, but then I opened another new box and it was the same. So I don't know if Stampin' Up! Has changed how they are doing their glue dots, but for 8 years, I've been used to pulling them right off the roll, and I have to keep getting used to pulling them now off of this strip. Unless it's a mistake. I don't know. It's challenging me a little bit. Makes you realize the motor memory we have for some of the things we do repeatedly, and how when you have to change that, it requires so much more thought. Okay, so let me start to see. I'm still doing it. I'm looking for the glue dots on the roll. So I'm actually going to put the glue dots right onto the hoop here, and then stick my flowers down to that. So let me start by sticking this one down, and I'm just going to put that there. When I apply the glue dots directly to my card or whatever I'm working on, it just gives me the opportunity to position exactly where I want it to go. So this one will go here. I have a feeling this one might be a little bit too far to the right. So you don't want the petals to extend too far, because this is going to sit kind of close to the edge of your card. So you don't want the petals extending off of the side, otherwise it won't fit into your envelope. Okay. So now we'll put that one here. There we go. So just using 3, you could use more, but it's a pretty small surface area, so I didn't want to put too many flowers, so I kind of went with 3 of the small-ish ones. Oh, okay, Sonia, so is this a new thing? I can't figure it out. Like, I just feel like I have less stability when I'm trying to take it off of here versus having a roll of multiple layers. So I wonder if there's like a way to put it in your box and then feed it through the outside or something to just make it easier to use, or maybe I'll just have to get used to it. I don't mind change. I'm okay with it. I was just surprised by it. Okay, using the white twine from the Snail Mail combo pack, I'm just tying a bow. I thought about using linen thread, but then I thought maybe I'm introducing kind of a whole new, not a color, but you know, a new tone. So I'm just going to stick with the white here. The linen thread I think would look pretty too. So I'm just going to put that down with a glue dot onto my card. Yeah, this is okay. I can work with this. I can work with it. I'm okay with the change. I'm actually going to put one more glue dot underneath this Seaside Spray flower just to get it to stick down really well. Okay, when it comes to using the gold hoops, I find that the glue dots are the go-to adhesive. I just would find it too hard to use liquid glue or anything else. So that's just, those are my 2 cents. Okay, so where have we put the Seaside Spray piece? So those of you that watched my Facebook Live, here it is, on Wednesday, we might have had a little chuckle because I was losing things left, right, and center. And I didn't look at my comments until the end and saw that Heather had shared with me that everything was stuck under my trimmer. So that was kind of entertaining. I'm just going to put some seal. If I had my liquid glue close by, I probably would have used that. I'm gonna have to put a little strip here and here because now that I've got all these layers on here, it's a little hard to apply the seal. Okay. Not too shabby. I think it's working. I think it's working. Yeah, there we go. Now I've put this glue dot here. I'm going to cover that with my sentiment anyway. So if that's bothering anybody to see it showing like that, don't worry. It's going to get hidden. And I really should find my liquid glue here because this one's going to be hard to stick. Actually, no. I'm going to put this on with dimensionals. Never mind. So I'm going to use, I don't know, maybe 5, 6 dimensionals here to pop this up. You love the flowers on the hoops. I love them. I think I might be running out of hoops, so I need to order, I think I might order multiple, like 3 or 4 more packs because I just feel like they work with anything. I did, I think the card I did last weekend was with the butterflies and I put those on a hoop as well. They just look so pretty. Okay, so that is almost done. Now I'm going to get my mini dimensionals and I'm going to cover, like I said, I'm going to cover that little glue dot here. So that's where I'm going to position my sentiment. So I'm going to actually take a dimensional and I'm going to put it right onto my card, right beside that glue dot that I want covered. Okay, and then I'm going to put that down like that. Okay, and then I'm going to take one more glue dot. Now, I don't want a dimensional under here. You guys hear me say this all the time. These are already popped up on the hoop. So if I were to put that on a dimensional, it would actually be an uneven, like the sentiment would actually be on an uneven plane, I guess. So I'm just going to use a glue dot and lay it flat underneath. So I'm just holding the glue dot here in place and pushing down with the edge of the sentiment so that it kind of holds the glue dot in place and gets stuck down. So tell me what you think of that. I'm just going to grab my pearls and pop some of those on. I'm just sprinkling now with some embellishments. Oh, I'm seeing hearts. That's always so fun. It's, I don't know, it never gets old when I finish a card and then I see these hearts like floating up into the air. It's a wonderful feeling. So I'm glad you guys like this card. And I really hope you'll try this fun fold. It's so easy and so fun and just gives you an opportunity to use, you know, slightly different colors and different designer series paper patterns. And you could just keep reusing it, using the same layout, doing it with all sorts of different stamp sets. So I'm going to put that one there. And I think that's all, my friends. Here is the measurements again. And like I said, I will post those. And I think I'll probably end up doing a blog post with this because I'm trying to do more of that where I just share more information and measurements and details. So you can definitely look for that there in a few days. And that is it for Coffee and a Card episode 6. I'm just going to go through the comments to see. You love the card. You love the fold. Oh, you guys are just making my day. Thank you so much. Denise, you do need to get some hoops. They are just beautiful. I'm seeing, like, literally, I'm just seeing like hearts floating, floating, floating. It's amazing. I hope you guys liked the card, and I really appreciate, again, that you are here with me today. And if you're watching the replay, please do comment and tell me where you're watching from and what you think of the cards and anything else you would like to tell me about yourself, because I love getting to know all of you. So, and yes, Sandra, not too complicated at all. Like I said, this one here is using the same fun fold. You just need a few pieces of cardstock and away you go. So you can make it as simple or as elaborate as you like. And like I said, you can do a belly band, or you could tie ribbon around it. And I would say this one probably I stepped it up a little bit with the hoops and the flowers and stuff, but there are just so many different possibilities. So I would love to hear if you try this fold and send me pictures if you're willing. And I hope that you guys all have a wonderful Sunday. Enjoy the day. It's sunny here, and it's not too cold, so we might take the kids sledding and just have some outdoor time. So thanks again so much for joining me, and I hope that you all have a wonderful week, and I will see you back here on Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, and back again next Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern for Coffee and a Card. Bye, everybody.